Mark Nelson today, and we've been talking about color. And Mark, you're going to show us some important things about different colors with gold.
That's right. Gold can come in a wide array of colors in different forms. So I want to kind of talk with you a little bit about alloy gold and plated gold, particularly, and what also they call gold filled.
All right.
So let's get started.
Okay.
We're going to start with what they call an alloy, which is pure gold mixed with other metals like silver, copper, maybe zinc, in order to obtain strength or a difference of color. Okay, so when we're looking here, this is actually 22 karat gold. Okay, so it's very rich in yellow. It's mostly gold. There's very little silver in it.
It's still an alloy, but there's very little other material.
Right, it's mostly gold. And right next to that, we have a yellow 18 karat. Okay, so we have a little bit less gold, a little paler yellow in color, but still quite beautiful and has a nice rich color. And next to that is the same thing in white gold. Okay, same amount of gold, but by adding, say, more silver or nickel or something else, we've actually turned it into a white metal.
Oh, so by adding the other metals into the alloy, that's what changes the color.
That's what changes the color.
But it's the same amount of gold.
Same amount of gold.
Okay.
Unless we go down to like maybe 14. Okay, now we have a little bit less gold and more of the other metals like silver, zinc, copper, and things like that. There again, income is in yellow, and it also comes in white gold as well. There again, same amount of gold. There's no difference, but just different types of metal on the other end.
Okay. I think a lot of people probably don't realize that it's the same amount of gold, but the other materials are what change the color.
Exactly. If we look at this tray over here, you can see a wide range of different colors. There's rose gold, which means that there's a lot of copper in that metal. And every one of those squares has the same amount of gold, just different amounts of the others.
Wow, so you can really just see a different range of colors here that are available within the same range of gold. It has the same properties, but just changes the color with the other
Changes
things.
the color. Sometimes there's a difference in workability, but mostly it's color. You have green, yellow, red.
So it's
white.
Primarily a design choice.
It really is.
Okay.
And then there's other types of gold too. And if we look on the board, we can see it right here is a gold filled. Okay, so this is a layer of, let's say, 14 karat that's been bonded to a base metal. Okay, and I'll explain more of that just in a sec.
Okay.
And next to that is what they call vermeil. Now, to be called vermeil, it is a plating process of 22 karat gold, 14 or whatever, but it has to be a certain thickness on sterling.
It always has to be on sterling, right?
Right.
Some items are plated onto base metal sometimes even, but to be called vermeil, it has to be on sterling.
On sterling, right.
Okay.
And then right next to that, we have some basic plated items. And these can be plated, like you said, on anything base metal, mostly brass is a big one. And they can range from like a little bit a heavy plate to a thinner plate.
Okay, can you talk a little bit here about people who have allergies and where that comes into play with making these choices?
That's a great question, especially with the white golds. Okay, in order to get that white color, sometimes what they'll do is add nickel. Okay, a lot of people have nickel allergies, and it would cause a rash.
Okay, so that's something to look out for. If you prefer the look of white gold, you just need to watch out if you have
Watch
that
for
nickel.
that and ask for an alloy made with palladium. It's in the platinum group of metals, and it's hypoallergenic and a much better for allergies.
Okay, and then as far as when you're creating jewelry and you're using some of these different shades of gold, you want to keep in mind to maintain the quality of the piece, to use the same type.
Right. If you were to go, let's say, with the 22 karat piece, don't add a plated item onto that. So
because it would just devalue.
It would devalue your work. Yeah.
So you'd want to keep it at the same level by using that same.
All the way through.
Okay, and step us through the plating here.
Okay. If we look on this little chart here, we can go through the different types of metals that are available. We have a gold bonded metal, which is a high karat gold layer, like 22 karat, that's bonded to argentium.
Okay.
It's a very thick sheet of metal, and has a long wearability.
Okay. So that's making gold stronger because it's a soft metal, right?
Exactly. The silver is giving it some strength that way. And then below that, you're going to have some gold filled. Gold filled can be 14 karat, 10 karat, 12 karat, and both of these are notated by weight. Like you'll have 1/6 the weight or 1/20th the weight.
What does that mean?
That means 1/6, let's look at the bonded metal, 1/6 of the weight is going to be gold of the
Okay.
total weight. If you go with gold filled, typically it's around 20, so 1/20th of the total weight is going to be gold.
Okay, and why is that important?
That's, so when you sell it, the customer knows exactly how much they're getting and the value of it.
So it's important to be clear with your customers
Yeah.
if you're selling your jewelry. And also as a buyer, I'd like to know.
As a buyer and a seller, exactly.
Okay. And what about the plating there
The
at
plating,
the bottom?
well, we'll start with gold plated, which is the thinnest. It's about 2/millionths of an inch thick. It's very thin. Followed by heavy plating, which is 40 millionths, and then the vermeil has to be 100 millionths of an inch thick.
And that's a legal definition.
That's a legal definition. All right, it has to be at least that thick on sterling to be called vermeil.
Well, I love the look of vermeil personally.
I do too. I love the rich yellow color.
Really pretty. So these are some different ways that you can use the tones of gold, and this was really educational.
I hope so.
Mark.
Thank you.
And when we come back, Marlene Blessing will be on location with Linda Hartung and Colored Wire